Good morning, Tehmina Khan is here. This is video number 5 in the continuation of kinematic topics, which is a topic of A-level mathematics M1. In the previous videos, I have already explained the concept of interpretation of a sketch, how to sketch, and some basic concepts. Now in this video, I will use SWOT equations, which are equations of constant motion, constant acceleration, and we will solve few past paper questions. So before I begin, you can see on the top my blog address. It can help you to go or reach to my videos directly. It's a very user-friendly blog. You can visit it and see the videos of your choice. So let's see a question. This question is saying that there are two particles P and Q. If you look at this diagram, the whole description of this is given over here, right? So let's see the diagram only from here. So in this question, there are two particles P and Q, which are at the position A and B. And they are moving with the speed of 5 meter and 3 meter respectively towards each other. And the acceleration of P is 4 meter per second square. And acceleration of Q is 2 meter per second square. So this is the description given here in the paragraph. So we don't need to read this paragraph. Now question is saying, find the speed of P at the instant when speed of P is 1.8 times the speed of Q. So I have to find the speed of P at this time. So basically I have to find out the time when speed of P is 1.8 times the speed of Q. So this portion is giving me hint to form an equation. So let's see. So to find the speed of P, I will use this relationship which is given to me. Now this basic information I have found from the question, right? P was moving in this direction and Q was moving in this direction. So using this equation, because it was given in the question that they were moving with acceleration and which was constant, right? So I can use this equation. So for P, my U is 5, A is 4, and T I have to find out, because that T will help me to find out the speed of P. Okay, so first of all, using this relationship which is given in the question, I am putting the values here. So velocity of Q is U plus AT. So when I solve it, I get the value of T, which is 1 second. And question was saying find the speed of P. So this was the speed of P. So I will substitute here in place of T 1. So this is what I'm doing. So the speed of P is 9 meter per second. So let's see part 2. Okay, so part 2 is saying the distance between AB is what? 51 meter. And find out the time taken from the start until P and Q meet. And it is written here they both start at the same instant. So when this start moving towards Q, Q starts moving toward P. And the distance between them at that time was 51 meter. So I have to find out when both of them will meet. So let's see what we will do now. Okay, so this is the situation given to you. I have written down everything once again to make it more sensible, what we have just read. So now I know when P will cover a distance from here and Q will cover a distance from here. So at that time, the total distance, if I add distance of P plus distance of Q, it will be equals to 51. So using this equation, S is equals to UT plus half AT square, what I am doing, distance of P plus distance of Q equals to 81. This is what I am doing. And then I am plugging in the values here, right? Simply 5T plus half A is 4. So I'm simply substituting the values of P and Q which is given to me in the question, and it helps me to get the equation of quadratic equation in terms of T. So when I solve it, I get 3 and minus 17.3. Minus time is not possible, so it is 3 seconds when both the object will meet on the way. Now this is question number 2, and it is about a particle which is projected upward. So it seems like a lengthy question, so let me explain with the help of diagram. So what question is saying that there are two particles. One is thrown vertically upward from ground, and other was thrown vertically upward from the top of the tower. And the distance between ground and the top of the tower is 25 meters. So particle P1 was thrown upward with the velocity of 30 meters per second, and particle 2 was thrown upward from the top of the tower with a speed of 10 meters per second. Now let's see what are the questions. So this is the whole situation described in the question. Okay, so part 1 is saying the time for which P1 is higher than top of the tower. Now we know if P1 is going, definitely it will go like this and then it will come back. So the moment it will come here, more than this time, suppose whatever the time is here when it was going up, after that it is higher than tower, higher than tower, higher than tower, higher than tower, till it will come back here, and now it is lower. So we will find out the time here and time here. So we can say it is higher than tower at this time. Okay, so what is this distance? 25. So if I use, what do you think, what should I do? I should use distance equation, s is equals to ut plus half at square, and in place of s I should write 25, because this equation will give me time when the distance from the ground was 25 meters. Yes or no? So basically I will get the time when it was going up from here and when it was coming down from here. So I will get the two times. So I will say that between those two times the object was above. So let's see. So that's why I'm putting S25. By the way, here I have just put down the information which was given in the question. It makes me, for me it is easy to write down all the important numbers here and then start substituting in this one, rather than reading the question again and again. So I got time 1 and 5. So it means when time was more than 1 second and less than 5 seconds, the object P was above the tower. Does this make sense to you? Because you see, it is going up from here. So suppose it was 1 second here, and after that it is more than 1 second, more than time is continue. So then it was here at 25 when it was 5 seconds. So between 1 and 5 seconds, the object was above 25 meters of the height from the ground. Let's see the next part of the question, what it is saying. Now question is saying find the velocities of the particle at the time, at the instant. And what was that instant? When the particles are at the same height. Now, same height means always from the same reference. Now for example, I am talking about with respect to this reference. Suppose it is going up and it is also going up. So for example, this is the time when they both are at the same height from the ground. Yes or no? So if I am using the distance formula for this and distance formula for this, so either I need to add 25 in it, so that it means I am talking about from ground, or in the distance of this I need to subtract 25. Are you getting my point? Because this is 25 meter low and this is 25 meter above from this reference point and this reference point. So that's why now we will write displacement equation. This and question is saying when the particles are at the same height. So I will equate the two distances. Yes or no? So from there I will get time and then see what do we do. So the question is saying the velocity of particle P1 and P2 are at the same height. And this was the question. P1 was on the ground, P2 was on the top of the tower. So this is the distance equation. If question is saying same height, then P1 equals to P2, and just substituting the values in this equation for here and here. Now either you do minus 25 here to make them equal, or you do plus 25 here. Yes or no? So both ways it is fine. So after that you are solving the equation and you get the 1.25. And question was saying find the velocities of P1 and P2 at this instant. So now we will use velocity equation. V is equals to u plus at. We have u, we have time now, and acceleration was also known because it is under the influence of gravity. So it is minus 10, because when you throw up, velocity is minus 10. So the velocity of P1 was 17.5 and velocity of P2 is minus 2.5. So this is how we have gotten it. Now the last part of the question is saying, let's see what it is saying. Okay, so the last part of the question is saying find out the time for which P1 is higher than P2 and moving upward. So let's see a rough sketch of it to understand what does it mean. The time for which P1 is higher than P2, because P1 was thrown from the ground and P2 was thrown from the top of the tower. So what was the time period when P1 was higher than P2 and it was still going upward? So let's see the sketch. What does it mean? Okay, so the meaning of the question, P1 was thrown from here with the velocity of 30 and this one was thrown from here with a velocity of 10. So of course this velocity is much higher. After some time it will definitely overtake it. So for example, this is the instant when P1 overtakes P2. So from here the time period is when P1 is higher than P2 and is still going upward. When it will take turn, this is the instant when V is 0. So it means from this time to this time P1 is higher than P2 and going upward. Now did we find this time? Yes. We have found this time in part 2 when we were saying they were at the same height. And what was that time? 1.25. Right? So what we will do, now we will try to find out at what time it reaches to its highest point. Okay. So to find out when it will reach to its highest point, P1, where V will be 0, P1 is started with velocity 30. In free fall, we always take a minus 10 or plus 10. In this case, it is minus 10 going up. So I got time 3 seconds. It means it will reach at the highest point in 3 seconds. So the total time is 1.25 second to 3 second when P1 is moving upward and it is higher than P2, right? So now let's see the next question. Now this question is from June 18, variant 4.3 question 1. Now rather you read it, either you read it or I can explain you what does it mean. So whatever is written here, let me explain it to you with the help of this sketch. Because whenever I read a kinematic question, it's always easy to sketch and put down all the information here so that you don't have to read the question again and again, right? You will only see what it is asking and the information given over here. So let's see the information given here. A small ball is at the height of 7.2 meter from the ground. Okay, so a small ball is here and it was projected vertically downward, okay, with this velocity. U is equals to 5. It is written here also. Of course, when it was coming down, the acceleration is 10 and the distance it will cover is 7.5. Now the question is saying when it will hit the ground, the velocity is V, and when it will rebound, the velocity, initial velocity will be half of V, and it will reach to the point B. And now this information we know, when it will reach to the maximum height, velocity will be 0 there, right? Okay, so the question is saying find out V. So we have to find the velocity when the ball will hit the ground, and we have to find the time for the ball to reach ground from A and rebound to B. So we have to find the time when ball will come all the way this way and then going all the way up. Okay, so let's find out this velocity first. Now this is something very simple. Do you remember the constant acceleration formula, SWOT equations? This one, V square equals to U square plus 2AS. So I have found this velocity 13. Now I have to find out this time also, yes or no? Because I have to find this time plus this time. So I'm using this equation, V is equals to U plus AT. V is 13 given, we have just found. and u is 5, so I got time 0.8. Now I have to find out this time. V I already know 13, so it means I know u. U is what? 13 divided by 2, which is 6.5. And when it is going up, my A is minus 10, V is 0, T I have to find out. So I will use this equation again. V is equals to u plus AT, and I got time 0.65. So total time is 0.8 plus 0.65, which is 1.45 seconds. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have learned something, please press like and subscribe button. You will get indication of my new videos, and I would wait for your constructive comments, which would help me to improve my videos. Take care. Allah Hafiz.